Well, I am now with my turn to come in now. Reparation is a realistic thing. We not rejoice to conquer and conquering. Balance and respect you hear from whence I come in. Here I see the sea is the Almighty King. First what we do, him on the house cleaning. All from the ancient future man comfy with trouble. Reptilian lion is a pattern and ricochet no bling. Love for you want and have the real something. How you so careless in a handling these things. The Greco-Roman, Judeo-Christian tradition is about these things. Lord Nazarene, burn fire true spirit. With the true King spirit. True King spirit. Yeah. Eminence and majesty, political listening is the precepts of victory in the roots deep already. The architectural genius of the city fire burn and drop the gun lit down already. Social upheaval is to uplift the many, free innocent, all should already. The world must revisit the true King Selassie. True spirit.
All right, greetings, family. Welcome to another edition of Baba TV Every Time Fire, alongside my good friend and brother Ashante Ras Bobo Ashante Tafari, who I've known for quite some time here in my home of Syracuse. And we're just here today and to give our condolences and to pay tribute to such a mighty roster. Our brother Von Benjamin, aka MIDNITE, aka Akae Beka, who have touched, so many of us in many different ways. And I was speaking to Ross earlier. I didn't want to, when I first heard of it, I didn't want to jump out the window and do a video. Shout out to the Honorable Priest Isaac, who, after listening to what he had to say, I said, well, there's almost nothing left to say after listening to what he had to say. Shout out to all the rosters out there who mourn the loss of our great, great warrior, brother Von Benjamin. I don't know where to start, other than I guess I'll just say, Ross, that, it was a privilege growing up, after I left here and growing up in Washington, D.C., where they actually started they lived there for 7 years. MIDNITE lived there and put out their first two, after Unpolished and Ross McPeace, their first two. Then when the third one came out, they moved back, I believe it was, to St. Croix. The Jubilees of Zion was the third one. I won't say I have all 70, but I purchased at least about 50 out of those 70. Back then, they used to play at a club called Club Kaffa House and Club Kilimanjaro back then. Back then, Brother Baba was vending at Rasta shows. I would bring VHS tapes in there of Dr. Ben and all the different speakers, and I would have books, all different kinds of books, and I would, it was so many different local clubs that you could see reggae at back then, and even now, DC is a hot spot for that, but you could see a lot of shows at numerous different clubs back then, and I never seen a roster. This man would draw, because especially what he was, if you go listen to Unpolished and those albums, how militant he was. And I know we must deal with the balance, but I want to show how I came to know the brother, because I'm very narrow and nationalistic brother in my perspective. And I was attracted when I heard that CD, because I've always been a reggae lover. When I heard that CD, I heard a Rasta man not just versed in the Bible, but I said versed in Black history, versed in Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, versed in a lot of different, and the cosmics, and his word, sound, and power. And me and this other Ross, shout out to Ross Adam, would go and we vended at several of the shows. And this one particular time, we vended at a MIDNITE show. And I remember the brother came and bought some books from me. I should have gave him the books, really. I'm saying I should have gave him the books. But he purchased some books, and I got to build with him somewhat. But going to Copper House and the club, seeing him, I mean, this brother, I saw him draw Hebrews, Kemetic, RBG to his shows. There were even Hebrews in Washington that would have him come perform at their banquets. Now these are, totally other groups that you wouldn't normally see at a reggae show, but they came to see Von, Benjamin, MIDNITE. I want to take my time with this because this is such an icon. And it's so much. I remember this one time, me and Ross Adam, and he bears witness to this. Shout out to Messenger Sila. Were in New York City, and we vended at SOBs. And MIDNITE was coming there, and we snuck down in the dressing room. And we had all our stuff and the books and everything before MIDNITE got there, and we just sat in the dressing room. I was crazy back then. I don't know how I did the things I did. And I snuck down in the dress, and we pretended as though we basically worked there at SOB. Act like we belonged there. They came in, really didn't pay. We were over in the corner, sitting down, and he started teaching. He sat down on the couch where we were and started teaching. And I've never heard a Rasta man teach the way this brother taught. I don't think I would have been attracted to another the way I was drawn to him. Then another very prominent, well-known reggae artist came into the dressing room. For the sake of negativeness, I won't say who the brother is. And he was listening to Von teaching me and this other brother. He didn't agree with what Von was saying, and he began to interject. And I'm just gonna say to the family, Von whipped the hell out of that brother with truth, with a higher knowledge, not by force or by might, but by the spirit and just the higher knowledge frequency that he had. And, me, I wasn't as disciplined as I was. I laughed at the brother, because I was kind of upset that he would come and interrupt what I was trying to drink in anyway. So I let out a big laugh, and just laughed at him while Von was whipping him with nothing but education and the truth. I say all that to say, because everybody say their little part about, the brother. The brother paid a price. In the early days, he had to fight in his own community to maintain his stance. And he didn't allow others, the music business, which is a very dirty business too, I love Rasta, but I don't like the business. He didn't let the money or the business compromise his integrity of the truth that he had to come to say to his people. He didn't allow that. And as Brother Sonetta would say, he got more respect kicking them in their ass than others did kissing it. Even the great Brother Sonetta, who is not as big a fan as I am, if you ask him, he loved MIDNITE. He put a couple of their songs in the past. You go ask him, he'll tell you. He loved me. It was something that they were saying. He said, now I can, he used to tell me, now, Baba, I can get with this.
Right. That drew him.
Now here's a man that come out of the tradition of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, militant, and wasn't as big a reggae fan as me, but when he heard MIDNITE, so the man had the power. And I'm not saying that he didn't evolve, and I'm not trying to not deal with balance. I'm just want to let the family know my little part and the knowledge that I had of the brother back in the being introduced, having that privilege in the early days when they were just coming out in Washington D.C. And basically, I just want to say big up to his family, the total Rastafarian community, that was and is my black shining prince of reggae. Brother prophet. MIDNITE, go ahead, brother. Read the words you want to give.
A true prophet. Couple of times I took in MIDNITE with the same brother, Baba. We tried it to Ithaca a couple of times to take a man, and that brother is a true Rasta to the bone, like he said, and that brother is highly. He's one of my artists from then to now and forevermore. Big up MIDNITE. Von Benjamin. Rastafari lives in the heart of all flesh. Selassie.
I remember one thing he said. He said, Bob, tell you soon you will see who the true revolutionaries are. He said, Bob, tell you soon. He said, I'm telling you now. So I don't want to go on and on about the brothers. So many others more qualified than I who have done videos and tributes and so forth, and that's why I didn't want to jump out the window. But this little light of mine, I had to let it shine for those who know I use his music and a lot of my intros. I have a lot of live stuff that I recorded at concerts that I will be continuing to do, because that's how we continue. He's not, anyway, he's still here. His spirit now is unleashed. It's unleashed. And what he laid down will never be erased from the planet. Shout out to his 11 children. I think it's 11. Shout out to his whole family. And I will do my little part to make sure on my little channel that he will be remembered. And on that note, I just thought I would do this with my brother Bobo Ashanti. And thank you so much, Vaughn, for what you have given us in education. I wouldn't be the man that I am today if it wasn't the words of wisdom from our brother Vaughn Benjamin. MIDNITE, shout out to his brother Ron. Shout out to the whole MIDNITE family. Shout out to St. Croix and Antigua. So that shows the creator bring it from where you don't think. Who's to think that this Rasta man coming from the little island of St. Croix will confound the wise.
Right.
You understand? It will confound them, and I've seen him do that.
Israel, Beta Israel. The people of the land rule oppression, exercise robbery, vex the poor and needy, polluted in their way, and will take off your crown. Remove your diadem, exalt him down his low. Neither do they regard the God of their fathers, no desire for woman. They exalt forces, they covet our fields, and they take them by violence, and they oppress a man in his house, even his heritage. Just say we alone. House of Israel, Israel, when all along, as Aristotle and Plato, who built Jerusalem, as Pliny and Plutarch, who built Jerusalem, as Herodotus, as Theodorus Siculus, who built Jerusalem, Ethiopia built Jerusalem. Sweep on my naughty train. Go ask Aristophanes, go ask Strabo, go ask Pliny, go ask Plutarch, go ask Herodotus, go ask Theodorus Siculus, who built Jerusalem. Yeah.